Hello, hello, Carissa, your intuitive coach, and I am coming at you today from land in New Hampshire that just purchased a couple weeks or months or so back. Slept here last night. It was amazing. But I was working this morning on myself and some of the blocks that I have related to how others see me, what I'm capable of, and the limitations within that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh, I'm using my new mic today too. So fingers crossed you guys can hear it okay. And I think I still have a green light. Yeah, I do. So we should be good. Okay. And there's no real path on the land yet. So this ought to be interesting to talk and bop around a little. So just like the labels and the speed bumps and the blocks that other people put up, and then our unwillingness to do more, right? So, like, I think of, when I was a teenager and, parents and that telling you couldn't do something or you couldn't go here or you couldn't pursue this dream this way, for like future college and stuff like that. And like the block was put there, but that could have been a speed bump and not a block. And not moving it forward when somebody put the block up, right? Like, that's on me. I could have like pursued things further, and just because one person told me no, or it's not going to happen that way, right? So like, what are your big dreams? And one person's telling you no, or can't be done that way, or even just a thought on how it could be done. There's a million different ways something can get done. Like, we live in a world of infinite possibilities. And here we are hitting a speed bump, right? We think it's the end of the world, and we don't pursue it any further. We just drop it, right? Oh, it's not going to happen, right? So, like, I'm in the middle of recording videos, and what if somebody's going to tell me, well, doing online courses just isn't going to happen? You can't do it this way, or things like that. That's not traditional. That's not going to work. People aren't going to like that. Well, okay, that's your opinion, not my opinion, right? There's a million different ways to do things. So definitely looking at things as speed bumps and not complete stops. But this also could be labels of what we're capable of, right? So what's the full extent of what you're capable of? Have you ever found that edge? Have you found the edge of what you're capable of? Like, I know I do this all the time with the gym, right? And that helps me try to find the edge of what I'm capable of at the gym. Okay, so that's my one edge. How capable am I of finding my edge on my financial means? Am I playing it big, giving it my all? Or, not really spending the time to research ways to increase income or increase sales or increase customers, like the easy way. That's like the perfect website 3 clicks away. The easy way, right? So I have this label that, finding the right people. So finding, the right people, the right clients, the right advertising, like all of that. I'm putting limits on that. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, it's going to cost money. I don't know if I want to spend money on that. You know, is this really worth it? Is this going to go anywhere? Right? Like, is that all in? No. Is that my edge and my limit? No. Right? So those edges, playing and getting to those edges, what are you capable of? You know, are you capable of helping millions? Are you capable of removing big blocks and your limitations and the labels that you put on yourself? Like, how far can you go? How far can you go with your financial abundance? How much time are you willing to put into researching new ways to make money? Researching ways to increase your expenses. Research ways to decrease your expenses. Still working on the coffee. So, you know, like, where are you not playing all out? But where are you putting labels on what you're capable of so that you can find those edges? You know, what if you are capable of calling in the craziest idea you can come up with? What is that idea? Why can't you do it? What labels are you saying it's going to be hard? You know, like, my biggest, craziest dream is going to be way different than yours. And so you got that download. I didn't. Right? So what's the craziest thing you can think of to do, to be, whether it's your career, your income, your physical, mosquitoes are out already. Your physical limitations, you know, how do you want to show up? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? You know, like, what's the craziest thing you can think of? And then what's blocking you or stopping you from that? Like, why not find that edge? Why not go all out? But doing it from a place of, like, curiosity and love and, like, what ifs, and showing the universe, you know, like, hey, I do believe in infinite possibilities. I do trust you. I'm in a trust fall with the universe. And the universe has my back to the degree which I think it does. So I dream big. I work on trying my edges, finding my edges, right? And thinking, okay, you know, what's blocking or stopping me? What are my perceived limitations? What are my perceived labels? What are the consequences of these thoughts? Am I working in a limiting factor? Or am I working out of, I live in a world of infinite possibilities? What's, like, the biggest, grandest, craziest idea you can think of? What is that? It's got to be something really cool. We're finding our edges. So what's the biggest, craziest thing that you in this moment can think of? Like, I look at this as me, the intuitive coaching, and that is my opportunity to continue to remember that it's a choice, right? So if I'm doing my coaching and all the good stuff, you know, that's me practicing, you know, this, remembering this, me in my quote unquote day-to-day life, remembering this, right? Continuing to come back to the max of what I can be, versus me just being in the moment of humanness and being sucked into the past, being sucked in to just like day-to-day unconscious, not really thinking about your thoughts. And then when I drop into coaching or working on different things related to just that part of my beingness, it's always like, oh yeah, remember, right? From this place, I can remember. So this is for me. Like, all of the stuff that I'm doing is for me to remember. Or how can I get here quicker next time? Right? Like, how can I teach this so that I'm constantly remembering it? The quickest way to get something to stick is to teach it, right? So what if I constantly want to be in a place where I can download this amazingness? I have to continue to remember. I have to continue to sit in that energy. And I have a hard time doing that when I'm, doing my career stuff, like that punch in, punch out, right? Then I kind of go unconscious and go back to the limitations. Versus sitting in this, I'm forcing myself to remember. I'm forcing myself to do. So this is for me to remember and to get back there quicker. But you can also use this for you, right? So what's the craziest thing that you can do? What's your craziest limitation? And how do you continue to stay in that energy of I can do anything? I'm a creator in a body. I can do anything. I'm a creator in a body. But what is that? What is that limitation? What are you saying? No, I can't pursue that. I can't even let my mind go down that rabbit hole because it's just so amazing or so out of my reach, right? Or maybe it doesn't line up with who I think I'm working on being, right? So, okay, I'm working on being closer to my intuitive higher self. But what if one of the craziest, wildest things that I want is just a beautiful home in the woods? I have the woods, working on the home. So does that line up with my thoughts of what, like, a person who's on the spiritual higher self path? Like, those seem like contradictions based off from limiting beliefs that we got, right? So I'm saying, okay, well, in order to make a beautiful home in the woods, I need money. Well, maybe. I mean, there's other ways to do it too. A house could fall out of the sky. I mean, I'm open to that, just saying. There's a million different ways. So yeah, money's probably going to be the way that it comes about, but I'm open to other ways. Like, it can come about other ways. So, okay, maybe it is money. Okay. What can I do that's like fun and vibrant and at my limitations, and I'm just totally in the flow while making shit tons of money, right? Does that like bump up to any of beliefs? Maybe, because you're always like, oh, somebody on this path, they need to get rid of their material things, or, money, can't have money if you're on this path. But those are beliefs other people and other programs and just other pendulums, really, like what they think. So I think a person who's moving up the scales of consciousness has an obligation to make shit tons of money. And from that, they can then make the world a better place. They can create more jobs, right? So, I have somebody who cleans my house. Like that creates a job for her. So by me making money in which I can afford to have somebody clean my house every 2 weeks, that provides her with income. That frees me up to continue doing what I enjoy doing and not cleaning the house. I don't mind cleaning the house. It's just not my jam. I'd rather be doing other things. So, that allows me to make the world a better place. Like I'm voting with my money and putting it where people are building their lives and pursuing their dreams. So I have an obligation to be as rich as possible so I can then continue to spread that. And in the same point, like I'm also bringing happiness and abundance to myself. Ooh, spider web. So it's like a heartbeat, like the lungs, right? Comes in and goes out, comes in and goes out. Same for money. Come in and go out. When you have money, it comes in and goes out. You could put yourself in the middle of that energetic exchange and impact millions of people, or impact your friends or family, having a positive impact on the world. So kind, good-hearted people have a moral obligation to be rich. Make the world a better place. So because you're here listening to this, we can assume that you're probably a good person. And so you are morally obligated to be filthy rich. And you can spread all of that abundance and joy and happiness with the world. You can make a world a better place. So what labels are you carrying that you feel like that's not possible? Like, to what degree do you not align with that statement? Like, as I'm saying it, I can feel like it feels a little sticky. Like, I like it, but it just feels a little sticky somewhere. So maybe another spider web. So maybe I'm 90% in alignment. Well, that's better than 20. So I'll take it. But really, like, okay, what belief am I holding on to that's letting this statement feel like a yes? What's the stories? So I have a moral obligation to be filthy rich so that I can spread that to others and have a positive impact in the world. In the middle of that, through that help, I'm able to build a house in New Hampshire. Somewhere around here. Okay, maybe a little bit over more. Right? So like, I don't know, it just feels a little heavy. Right? Like, okay, well what could that be? Like, it still, for me, just kind of comes back to all those religious people, like gurus and, folks like that. You can use whichever person you feel most comfortable with. And, they lived a life of poverty or little means. And then how can I put the two together mentally? Like the gurus and the Jesus and the Buddhas and, the spiritual folk that you look up to, and you're like, oh man, wow, right? They can do it. But they're in a different situation. Like they've given up all those material means. So, like, how do you connect the two together? And so I feel like that's probably where my sticking point is. So let's say that's like, again, 90% in alignment. And that little bit of unalignment is related to how I perceive people that I look up to and how they handle themselves with finances. Right? But then I'm judging myself and I'm judging them. Right? Maybe they didn't want that. So do I need to not want that as I move up the levels of consciousness? I mean, maybe, but I'm not honoring kind of like what I feel inside and like what would jazz me up. Like really like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. And that is in alignment with calling in lots of money. Right? So just trying to align the two. So even as I'm talking it out, like it still feels sticky. Like it's still not like there. So, maybe the next step is to find people, who are living what I'm calling in and being of a high level, high consciousness person. So maybe I'm just not looking at the right examples. Or, do I even need examples? I mean, I feel like my brain does. So I probably would be one to be like, well, I need to see if somebody else has done it too. But yeah, so maybe there's just other people out there. So the philanthropy, oh gosh, I cannot say that word. Being in philanthropy, still didn't get that word right, but you know what I mean. So if I have lots of money, I'm able to make a huge impact. I'm able to vote with my money. I'm able to create from that place, So just because some people that we know and look up to have done it that way, let's say our gurus, let's say there's some other spiritual leaders, people of higher consciousness who've done it the way that I'm talking about, and they're just not coming to mind as readily, right? So maybe that's part of it. It definitely feels like there's something else there. Like there's still like the two lines of thought still aren't tracking. So this is interesting. Okay. So I'm 90% in alignment with I have a moral obligation to be super rich so that I can spread just goodness and joy and help to the world. And I feel like the block has something to do with examples and religion. Right? But if I had a lot of money, I could donate a lot of money. I could help a lot of people. I could have a business that employs people. I could build a house that keeps contractor company going, right? So that's voting with your dollars, making a positive impact on people. It feels good, right? So What if I was to think the thought that, maybe the spiritual folk that I'm thinking about, who chose poverty and not having stuff, maybe they limited themselves and we just happen to have an example of them. So maybe they could have done more good if they also pursued financial abundance, right? So maybe I have a label of them being of the highest level of consciousness and not having material wealth and not desiring it and not kind of putting it back forth into the economy. And so maybe they limited themselves. So maybe they weren't living a full fuck yeah life. Maybe they were just like, well, I'm just going to do this one part of my life and, not pay attention to this other part of my life. Right? That's possible. You never know. Right? So maybe I'm obligated to go a step and just have a full fuck yeah in every category. And then maybe I can make a huge impact on myself, teaching myself how to remember, getting back to that place of remembering quicker, but still like, this is how I did it. Maybe you can do it this way too. This just happened to be the way that my brain remembers. I'm a slow learner. In order for me to remember, I gotta teach it and I gotta do it. And maybe that's what other people need too. So, am I just limiting myself? If I feel like I can't live this total high level consciousness and be morally obligated to be wealthy so that way I can spread it, right? So what if that's living a full fuck yeah in every category? And what if the other spiritual leaders that not that I'm comparing myself by any means, but just kind of like looking at as like role models, and maybe they held back on themselves, right? Maybe they just went like 1,000% in one category and just kind of let go all the other stuff. Well, that's maybe not how you do it. Maybe you just live a full fuck yeah life in every category, right? Okay. Oh, we got a little buddy. Hey, he's so cute. So, ooh, here's another one. Okay, you have to be careful where we step here. Right, so finding the edges in every category, not just one. Like that feels like a really full fuck yeah. Oh my God, I'm excited. I'm creating. I'm just in flow as much as possible in the now at the craziest possibilities. Like, what if that's what is a better fit for me? Maybe that's a better fit for everybody. So going back to the statement of how much am I aligned to, I am morally obligated to be filthy rich so that I can share this with the world. Like I can make a world a better place. I can be a full fuck yeah in every category of my life, finding the edges. Okay. Well, that now feels fully aligned. That feels good. Now I feel like I'm in 100% alignment with that statement. 100% alignment. The next place my brain goes to is my limitations. So my perceived limitations, right? So how is somebody of your normalness of just, skills, no, nothing special, right? How do you go about finding what is the edge? Like, what's the craziest, biggest thing you can think? I mean, I don't know. To me, all I can think of is just trying to get back to the place of remembering more often. Like, that's as big as I think my brain can get. But the only way I know how to do that is through teaching and then going back and remembering. So using it as a way to remind myself, oh, this is so pretty. Right? So what lights me up is remembering and staying in flow and doing like crazy fun adventures. And I think that's the craziest like the edge of what I think I want to do for this moment anyway. I always have the right to choose something different. So, right? Like maybe that's my edge and my limitation of thinking, who are you to try to take on something like that? Like everybody else has already done it. Okay, so that's exactly where my brain just went. Okay, so everybody else has already done it. There's a million people in this space. Who are you? Why would anybody listen to you? Right? Then I go through and I'm like, well, I have people tell me now that they listen. They connect with what I'm saying. And I have a coaching business. So people do pay me for this. So this really isn't that big of a stretch. Right? Who are you to think that you can be bigger? Well, if I'm bigger, I can maybe help more people. But then my brain goes, well, who says that you're helping people? Maybe you're making it worse. Well, if somebody leaves a session with me, I usually feel better. So, okay, that's not really true either. So maybe I'm just somebody who can spend some time in their brain and try to work out that back and forth messy middle. And I have some tools that help with that. Like, this is what helped me. So every time I need to go back to remember, this is what helped me. Right? So if I just continue to stay focused on teaching helps me remember, I'm trying to figure out how to remember quicker, then I'm doing this for me. But at the same point, I'm not going to limit it, because what if this helps other people too? And then because this lights me up, like, I just want to remember. I just want to get to that place of I'm just in that intuitive, centered flow. And it's just a remembering game, removing the blocks game, reconnecting, realigning, dropping the ego, dropping the self-importance, not living in the past. And I just have to remember that. So how do you remember that? Well, I figure things out and remember when I teach. So the craziest thing I can think of is to teach others how I'm remembering while I'm in the middle of remembering, so they can see what that process looks like, right? So I feel like I get to the point where I can remember a lot quicker. Oh yeah, you're a conscious being in a body, you're a creator in a body, and you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can create whatever the fuck you want. You can live a hell yeah life. And then I forget. And then I drop out of alignment. And then I have to come back to it. So this is the messy middle. Like, this is the coming back to it over and over and over again. This is my stubborn brain. It's my stubborn brain, my stubborn programming, my stubborn ego, my stubborn lower self, just wanting to pull me back into my problems, my challenges, my labels, my stories, my limitations. So this is a way for me to keep coming back to remembering and trying to remember how I did it. And then from there, teaching it and recording it so I can get back there for myself, but maybe this helps somebody else. Maybe this helps you, right? And so then I can equate to, if I can help myself remember, and maybe I can help other people remember, maybe then I can still connect with and be 100% in alignment with the statement that I am morally obligated to be filthy rich, so that way I can spread the love, joy, and abundance to as many people as possible. Right? Like, what if I took that full serious? What if I really thought that I was worthy of this message to spread, right? So worthiness. Who am I to tell other people this? That pops up in my brain, right? But I don't think I'm telling. I think I'm just showing what worked for me. So what worked for me might work for you, right? What if you're stubborn like me and the middle is just where you seem to be sitting, right? But then I can keep coming back to remembering. I can keep going, oh yeah, I'm out of alignment. What if I had statements? I do this as well. Statements that I check my alignment to, right? So I check my alignment to a whole list of statements every morning. I am the cause, not the effect, as I am a creator in a body. So every morning, I check my alignment to that, right? And that's a tough one. I live in a world of infinite possibilities. I start off in alignment with that, right? Every morning, I'm checking my alignment to I'm a creator in a body. I'm the cause, not the effect. And I live in a world of infinite possibilities. It's my alignment to those statements. First thing in the morning, they're aligned. How quick before I drop out of alignment. I have an alarm that goes off every 30 minutes to remind me to connect to the light and just get back into that place. How quick do I drop out of it? Like, how often do I have to remind myself to not be my past, to not be me of that moment, to not be the stories, to not be the labels, to not be the, oh, this is hard. Ugh, I don't want to do this. All that resistance. You know, how quick can I let it go? So maybe the question is not, how soon do I fall out of alignment? Because for me, that's pretty soon. Maybe the question is how quick can I catch it, let it go, and snap it back into alignment? Snap it back into the happy end result. Anchor it back in and reconnect with that future memory of the grandest vision you can hold. That full fuck yeah in every category. So how quick can you catch it? How quick can you come back to letting it go? Because we're not adding on top of, we're letting it go. How quick can you become aware that you dropped out of alignment, you drop back into ego, and you're no longer in that seat of higher self-centeredness? How quick can you let go and realign your happy end result? I'm talking about letting go, like really letting go, not covering up, no covering up, really sticking with the full thought and going through the full letting go process. That's looking at the story, thinking about, am I reacting or creating? Or am I, just again, reacting and pushing against and knocking myself out of flow? Right? And like, what's that story? Okay, what story do I have to drop? What belief do I have to let go of? But the first thing I have to do is fully acknowledge and accept that it's there. You can't start by pushing it away and covering it. So you have to fully connect with that belief, really getting to the root of it. And from that place, that's the place where you can bless it. You can allow it. You can welcome it. But you have to spend some time in that pain cave. Like, who wants to sit there and analyze? Like, yep, did it again. I'm being a reactor, I'm being a limiter, I'm connecting with the pendulum of the thoughts, of the beliefs, of the limitations. Okay, what's coming up? And then thinking through it. Welcoming the thought that I resisted it. Welcoming the thought that, pushing it away allowed me to stay in this lower vibe, making me a victim. Like, really accepting that I was a victim, because that's out of alignment with the cause, not the effect, right? So letting go, really, really letting go, and then filling in. We don't cover up. We let it go. We stay in full alignment for as long as possible. We catch the thoughts. We become aware. We let them go after we analyze and really look at what the belief system is that's there. And then just reconnect with your amazing greatness. Reconnect with your higher self. Reconnect with your infinite possibility. Reconnect with the anchor that you dropped of your future memory. And what future memories do you want to have? Let's anchor those in and connect to them and really build out that happy end result. But from a place of full, infinite possibility. What are you capable of if you left a full, fuck yeah life? What are you capable of if you lived a full, fuck yeah life? In every category. Every category. What is that? Right? What is that? I hope you enjoyed.